Andrew, thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be back in Aberdeen, and clearly the technology is working as well, so everything's set fair. I'd like, as Andrew said, to take the next 5 minutes to set out the background to the Offshore Wind Programme Board and its objectives. Alistair has just spoken of a pathway to cost reduction in offshore wind. The Programme Board is effectively the Sherpa to that objective, pegging out the route, not just to 2020, but beyond. So my apologies, first of all, for the opacity of this slide. It is not your glasses. It is the lack of definition. It could be a slide about anything, but I assure you it's a slide about the future low-carbon generating mix in the UK. It's a snapshot from a recent report on offshore wind in the UK, setting out the range of low-carbon generation options out to 2040, taken principally from the work that McDonald did for DEC back in 2011. Offshore wind is the blue band here, and you can see the projection out to 2040. Offshore wind playing its role in a mix of low-carbon technologies, but among the cheaper technologies. And that is the ambition. Of course, the challenge is how do we get there? Why do we need to reduce the cost of offshore wind? Well, as Alistair said, we need to do so not just because we, at the moment, rely on support from the consumer, but also because we want to exploit the sheer volume of offshore wind to the UK economy. And those of you who were here 4 years ago now may remember the publication of the Offshore Valuation Report, which set out the full extent of that opportunity to the UK economy. The British government has essentially set us an implicit or explicit bargain, as expressed in this slide from DEC. We, that's DEC, on behalf of the consumer, will provide a long-term funding framework, provided you, the industry, reduce costs and grow the sector in the UK. Again, my apologies for the blurriness of this slide, but we can have some confidence that cost reduction will come as the industry grows and matures. This slide is taken from a recent study by the California Energy Commission, building in the work of Arup and McDonald for DEC, and it shows a trajectory for a range of low-carbon technologies. Offshore wind is here, here, and here, and as you can see, out past 2020, well, you can't see it's past 2020, take my word for it, but it follows and mirrors the declining cost trajectories for solar PV and further cost reduction for onshore wind. So the direction of travel is the right one. All show a significant projected downward trend, and that is what we need to exploit and what the Programme Board has been set up to deliver. So it is with that in mind that last year saw the publication of 2 reports identifying the cost reduction trajectories for the sector to £100 per megawatt hour by 2020. And the cost reduction task force, of which Andrew chaired, left us with 27 recommendations for action, which provides the core of our activities. The Industry and Government Cost Reduction Task Force's central recommendation was for the creation of the Programme Board to deliver the framework to enable industry to hit that £100 per megawatt hour target in the time frame set out. To bring together government, and not just the departments of energy, both in Scotland and in London, but a range of government departments, all of whom have an interest in our sector, the supply chain and developers around a table to work in common on a combined set of objectives. The task force report set out a series of recommendations grouped across 3 main work streams and drawing on the experience of other sectors which have delivered significant value add for the UK economy, not least, as we're here in Aberdeen, the experience of oil and gas, both in its early years as it grew in the 1970s, and then, of course, through the CRINE, the cost reduction in a new era process, when oil fell to $10 a barrel, which seems like an awfully long time ago, but for many of you in this room, I'm sure it was just like yesterday. So each of the work streams within the Programme Board has a champion, and they combine with other board members to deliver packages of work to support our overall objectives. In addition, we are working closely with, I think technically we report to, the new Industry Council that Ben Sykes referred to in the session before this, and they may make recommendations for additional work that we take forward, and we in return may seek additional resources from them in order to deliver that work. I don't have the time in this session to walk you through each parcel of work, but I wanted just to give you a flavour of some of the issues that we're coming to grips with. And I've borrowed these slides ruthlessly from my friends at Sea Energy, and if they're in the room today, thank you very much. But I think they provide a good overview of some of the issues that we have to come to grips with around contracting strategies, supply chain optimization, and standardization, all of which is informing our work. We aren't engaged in a tick box exercise. We are not engaged in a tick box exercise, but it is worth reviewing our work since last year by reference to the recommendations from Andrew's task force. As you can see, there has been progress across a range of matters, not all, I have to confess, due to us. I wouldn't claim the credit for setting up the Green Investment Bank, but that among many have clearly added an impetus in the right direction to this industry, and it will be very helpful to our work. We have our third board meeting here in Aberdeen tomorrow, and we aim to provide a more detailed report on progress at the RUK Offshore Conference in June, which I'm sure many, if not all of you, will be present at. I wanted to finish with a slide for the simple reason that I like it, but also because I think it puts in context the work that we are seeking to achieve and the work that Frank and Andrew set up in their presentations. One of the interesting things about this chart is the scale of innovation over a 30-year period from the rocket and planet locomotives of the 1830s to the complex modern engines modern for the 19th century, that is, of the 1870s, which made the journey from London to Edinburgh in roughly the same time as it takes today. This is the scale of the innovation which we can already see in offshore renewables, which will drive deployment at scale and drive down cost. I want to say in conclusion how much we as the board appreciate the time and effort that you, as the industry, are already committing to help us to deliver on these objectives. This, in snapshot, is who we are. I know the slides will be circulated, so I won't give you time to write them all down, but we are a board of significance drawing on expertise across the industry. This is when we will next be meeting, a regular program of board meetings interspersed with work of the work streams led by the champions. And this is me. Should you wish further details on the work of the board, I would be more than happy to share it with you. Andrew, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Adam, thank you very much.